Hello, and welcome to another edition of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel.
And I am Donald Weigel.
And we are very inspirational and thin-looking to people.
If you just looked at us, you would think we were thin.
We are not.
But no.
Did you eat a donut yesterday?
I ate a donut yesterday.
Why don't you tell the fine people of the interwebs about your donut?
Well, this ties into what we're going to talk about later, but I've been craving a donut for a long time, and Starbucks has these old-fashioned glazed donuts that are like 500 calories a piece, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a donut, because I'll have this one donut, and it will satisfy my craving. And guess what? I wanted another one today.
So you're saying that you justified having a donut and then wanted more donuts?
Yes. Shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not very good at inspiring people. We don't talk lustfully about salad.
Yeah, I do really like carrot sticks, actually.
Yeah, they're good. They're fine.
I like them a lot.
Well, that's good. Let's do the carrot stick show.
The carrot stick show.
Yeah.
All right.
So last week, if you go back in the Wayback Machine, or just look at your phone, last week we talked about Gretchen Rubin's loophole spotting, which is not train spotting, it's loophole spotting, which is we make judgment calls about our choices and justifications to do certain things. And today we're going to continue our conversation, our interesting conversation on loopholes.
Very interesting conversation.
So basically we try to justify our choices in the moment, and making spontaneous choices about food to eat or to gorge upon. We make excuses. You only live once, right, Don?
Yes, you only live once. And, you know, I'm going to ruin the quote because I don't have it memorized or anything, but Benjamin Franklin said something about, you know, it's really convenient to be a reasonable person because you can make a reason for anything that you want to do.
Yeah. And we've all done that. We've all been like, you know, in the moment. I mean, Donald got a donut last night, and I had not planned for a donut, and I started scrambling, trying to figure out a reason I could justify having a donut because he was having a donut, and I did not have a donut. I wanted a donut.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of me, too. Part of me not having a donut was trying to be better than you, not eating a donut.
Oh, clearly you're better than me.
So last week we talked about 5 of Gretchen Rubin's loopholes and justifications, and today we're going to cover the last 5, like a 10 Commandments-y kind of pillar situation. So we're going to kind of start with a little vignette. We're going to do the We Only Look Thin players. Donald is going to be playing the role of Jimmy America Business.
Hello, everyone. I am Jimmy America Business. I sell business door to door. That's my actor voice.
He may also play the role of Grandma. Can you do Grandma?
Hello, Kathy. It's your grandma.
Yikes. That was terrifying. And I'm going to be doing like Janie Business PTA. Pretty tasty applesauce, or whatever PTA stands for.
Wow.
I don't even like applesauce. So let's imagine, if you will, Jimmy America Business. He's at a trade show selling business door to door in Las Vegas at the Business Door to Door trade show. So why don't you talk about what Jimmy Business might say when he's living the dream?
I am Jimmy Business, and I am in Las Vegas at a trade show, and I only live once, so I should indulge in all of my indulgences.
Jimmy Business, is there a buffet at the hotel?
There is a buffet, and they have things such as spare ribs and also popcorn shrimp.
Can you eat all of them? Is that a dare?
I could eat all of the popcorn shrimp, and I think in order to get value out of this buffet, I must eat all of the popcorn shrimp.
Now, what if your boss was eating with you? Would you feel obligated to eat because he would judge you poorly if you
I
didn't
don't want
eat?
to make my boss feel bad, and at my next review, he may decide to fire me if he thinks I'm trying to be better than him.
Like I was trying to be better than you. So,
like, when people think you're trying to be better than them, it gets really annoying.
It does. And what about, you said YOLO. You YOLO, right?
I YOLO. I'm in Las Vegas, and I only live one time, as it turns out. So I must eat whatever I would like.
All the beer battered. And you live once.
We have not heard from Janie Business in this whole thing. I didn't realize Jimmy Business was going to carry this whole bit.
Well, Janie Business has done a great job. Janie Business has lost 100 American pounds.
Janie Business has lost 100 American pounds. So what does that mean, Janie Business? Can you now eat whatever you would like?
It does. It's just this one time. I'm going in to weigh in at my weight loss meeting in 1 American week. And that means today I can eat all I can eat because I can work it off this whole week. So I can just have it today. I can have it today, and I'll figure out the rest of it as I go along.
And Janie Business, what happens when you go and visit your grandma? I'm your grandma, and I baked you these delicious cookies. You better eat them or I won't love you.
Oh, my grandma is telling me she won't love me. Or actually, she never said that, but I really want those cookies. So I'm going to tell myself that if I don't have them, she'll stop loving me. And, so I'm going to eat all of the cookies, and then I'm also going to eat all of the healthy snacks. They're healthy because they say healthy on them. I'm going to eat them in my room after Grandma Business has gone to sleep. She's also Grandma Business.
Grandma and Janie Business. And what would happen if you just did this one small thing today? Would it make any difference, Janie Business?
I will tell myself it does not make any difference, and then suddenly I will wake up and flip the calendar page, and it will be March 1st, and then I will go, sweet Lord Almighty, it has been 2 months, and I have not made any progress, because I just kept doing one thing over and over again.
And scene.
Dun dun dun.
Wow, applause,
Business.
and the curtains come down and go up.
Have you ever said any of those things to yourself? Do you have a mean grandma who's going to disown you if you don't eat her peanut butter balls? I know Donald sure does and did.
She definitely tried to foist those delicious treats on me, that's for sure.
She did. She was a lovely woman, but she foisted and baked and foisted. So we are going to talk about 5, now that we have made your ears bleed with inspiration. We are going to talk about the 5 loopholes that Gretchen Rubin talks about in her book, Better Than Before. So we covered 5 last week, and the ones that we're going to talk about this week are the This Doesn't Count loophole. You may have picked that up in our little tableau that we just laid out for you. We're going to talk about questionable assumption loopholes, the concern for others loophole, or the grandma vice president business loophole. The fake self-actualization loophole, the YOLO.
That's you only live once.
And then the one coin, the it's just this once, what does it matter loophole. So let's just go back to the beginning, shall we? Before you ever learned anything about Janie and Jimmy Business, to the this doesn't count loophole. So that is the one that is the, I'm sick. I'm on vacation. I'm in Vegas. It's just this one time. It doesn't count. It doesn't count, right, Donald?
Yes, it does count. And
Wait, I just said it doesn't count.
No, but it does. That's the thing.
How? I'm on vacation in a different country. They don't have the same metric system, so calories don't count the same way, right?
It turns out that science doesn't care whether you think it counts or not, that your body actually still absorbs the calories and you gain weight.
I do gain weight. I do quite regularly and frequently because it turns out everything does count. So saying it's Leap Day, it's the Oscars, it's Valentine's Day. Suddenly, there's a day for everything, Donald.
There is a day for everything.
There's a donut day, a pizza day, a croissant day.
I'm pairing Arbor Day with eating a giant chocolate cake.
Because the trees would want it, wouldn't they?
The trees expect me to not eat paper products.
I actually was thinking the other day that I would look at the, what day is this, Talk Like a Pirate Day, and pirates eat pirates' booty, I guess. So I would just eat 5 bags of pirates' booty to honor our fallen pirates.
I think that's excellent advice. And I think that this is something that was a bit of a revelation to me, this it doesn't count thing. It all counts. And it doesn't matter when it is. It doesn't matter if you've been good or not been good or I don't know why I'm saying good. But it all counts. Everything you eat counts. All of the exercise you do or don't do, it all counts. And you can talk yourself into or out of anything that you want to, but it still counts.
Yeah, and the more justifications you make, you're building up a muscle of either a flabby muscle of giving in to temptations at every turn, which has gotten you to where you are today, or you're flexing a muscle of self-awareness and conscious decision-making, because I think we fall victim, and I see this a lot in myself and in others, where we just say, oh, we can't do it, we're on vacation, we're sick, we're whatever. You know, there should be no surprise that Arbor Day is coming. You shouldn't have a surprise Arbor Day celebration where you suddenly have 7 honey-baked hams that you have to eat. Like, you know it's coming. You can plan for it.
Yeah, and you know that you're going to get invited over to that party, or you know that you're going to, have relatives in town, and you have to figure it out. And it stinks, and it's not fair, but, your body doesn't care what's fair or isn't fair.
Well,
it's still all calories.
And it's not that, if you're sick, I mean, you've been sick, haven't you, Jimmy America Business?
I have been ill and have had to call in sick to business.
Business work. And stuff happens, and sometimes you get takeout, and sometimes you get, frozen meals, and it's not about planning for every consequential incident in life, but it is being honest about it and not just saying, well, screw it, I'm away. And then you get back from vacation and you're up on the scale 5 pounds and like, how did this happen? It's like, well, because you justified the whole trip and that's why you gained 5 pounds. So that's the this doesn't count. Now we're going to talk about questionable assumptions.
And for those counting at home, this is number 7 of the 10 loopholes. And you, once again, can listen to our last episode and hear about the first 5. So the questionable assumption loophole is telling yourself things like, this isn't a real dinner if I don't have X, Y, or Z thing.
So like a real dinner, when I was growing up, meant bread and butter. Bread and butter goes with supper, doesn't it, Donald?
It does, but maybe you shouldn't.
But it goes with it. What about everyone has a chocolate milkshake when they have a burger, right?
No, they don't, and you don't have to. No, you don't got to have fries with your burger. You don't have to have hash browns with your omelet.
Well, what I do know is that that your pressed juicery Jamba Juice is healthy. It says so on the sign. So if I had like 5 or 6 Jamba Juices, that'd be like 5 times the health, right?
No, it would not. That would be just 5 times the calories.
But it's healthy. Healthy foods don't have calories. You know what doesn't have calories? Vegan food. French fries are vegan, so they don't have calories.
Vegan food has lots of calories in it, or a lot of it does.
This is new information to me.
Yes. Turns out most potato chips are vegan, and peanut butter, and
Coca-Cola.
Beer, and Coca-Cola.
Which is delicious.
Anyway,
so I must get the greatest value out of this buffet. Like, it's not a dare. We talked about the smorgasbord before. Like, there is a temptation, and I know for me, for years, it was like, this is all you can eat, so I'm going to do that. Like I'd be a chump. Like, the business owners would laugh at me if I had a salad and soup when I could have had, food I didn't even like because it was free.
Yeah, and it's also telling yourself things like, I'm too busy to take the stairs. And this will tell you what sort of a sick, twisted individual I am. I park, as I've mentioned on this podcast before, I park on the 4th floor of the parking garage at work, and I walk up the stairs, and nothing gives me more pleasure than arriving at the elevators/stairs at the same time as other people, and then walking up to the top floor and being there when the elevator door opens, and them walking off and me walking past them.
That's jerkier than me being smug about
super jerky
about my donut that I didn't eat yesterday.
But you're telling yourself you don't have time for the stairs, and guess what? I beat them up the stairs.
You want to name names?
I don't know their names. They're just random people at
strangers,
work.
just putting strangers to shame.
No, and they probably don't even notice me. But in my mind, they're like, I should have taken the stairs. It would have been better.
Well, and there's the, as part of the questionable assumption, I'm so far behind. What's the point? Like, I'll never get there. Why should I start now?
Yeah, and I've done it. I've done it very recently too. It's just sort of like, well, I've already eaten this thing. Why not? What's the point of counting my calories the rest of the day?
Well, and another part of that, which is kind of, it stings because it gets me in the feels. But I should test my willpower. I've been so good. You know what? I've lost 100 pounds. I totally bet that I could have ice cream for breakfast. I deserve it, right? Like, I've come this far, I should just have ice cream and I will be fine and see if I can make it the rest of the day. No, like, that actually happened this week. I didn't have ice cream for breakfast, but I had something that was sort of off plan, and it sent me into a nosedive for the rest of the day. I just wanted snacks and treats, and I woke up in a haze of sugar and carbs the next day, and it was not pretty, and I still struggle with this, and it was definitely I should test my willpower. Like, no.
I actually did that with Coca-Cola though, and it turned out fine. I've had 2, and I'm okay. I don't really need them. So
you're fixed.
Sometimes it works out.
So I'm the bad
No,
one.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying, well, in that case, it worked out for me. But yeah, it's usually not a good idea.
Well, it's that, like, I should be able to, like, I've lost 100. It shouldn't count. Like, I'm still fundamentally myself.
And we're going to cut to 6 weeks from now when I'm, like, mainlining, like, 2-liter bottles
this is our
of
last
it.
episode because Donald had a Coca-Cola and he's up on the scale of 100 pounds. So now we're going to go back to Grandma. Good old Grandma Harriet.
Yes, and
that's actually a real grandma.
This is the concern for others loophole, and it's the, I can't do this because it might make other people feel uncomfortable. It would be really rude to go to Bob's birthday party and not eat Bob's birthday cake.
And it would not be good for your business to not have a glass of wine or 3 when your boss tries to foist it on you, or, oh, it's Janie's birthday and I'm not having a slice of cake. It's, they made it specially for me. I need to eat it. I actually, and this is an actual real-life American true story, someone gave me a 2-pound box of See's chocolate for Christmas a bunch of years ago after I had lost a bunch of weight. I had done Atkins for like a year and a half. Went from 300 pounds down to 185 pounds, and at Christmas time, someone gave me a 2-pound box of chocolates. And I don't even know if I told you this, Donald. Did you know that I actually thought to myself, oh, if I eat this whole box of chocolate, I'll only gain 2 pounds, because it's a 2-pound box of chocolates. I thought that with my brain. I have gone to college.
Wow.
And
you did not study science in college.
I was not a sciencey major type with maths. I must have been on crack or something because I ate all of it and then proceeded to go back up the scale. And this wasn't about, the candy. Do you know that I could have given it to someone else? I could have, like, thrown it in the actual trash and not eaten it and just said thank you very much. But
yeah, I mean, that's another, form of this. You tell yourself that you can't waste it. Like, that would be wasting if I got rid of it. You know what? You're better off getting rid of it.
Well, and you, like, okay, there's an open jar of mayonnaise that's going to go bad in a month. We got to get the value, the $2.50 out of it, right, Donald? Like, you got to just eat all the mayonnaise, because
if you throw that mayonnaise away, I expect you to make up that $2.50 somehow.
So that concern for others, that, like, my boss is going to be mad, my friend's going to be mad if I don't have this, like...
Yeah, or, I'm out at a bar with friends. If I don't drink, it's going to make them feel uncomfortable. Like, that's just a lie.
What am I going to do?
That is a lie you're telling yourself.
People don't really care what you do. Not too much. Like, they get over it. I mean, I know there are circumstances where it's like, you've had to deal with this where people are like, Donald, you got to try the cheesecake at work. Like, we're testing vendors. Like, you can lie to people and just be like, oh, I already had a piece. Or, oh, if you don't have to explain yourself to people because that can get awkward. But you can say, oh, I'm going to have one later. Oh, I just brushed my teeth. Oh, I just had dentures put in and I can't chew for 5 days.
If you really do feel uncomfortable, you can make something up. But you know what? You can also just tell people the truth. I don't want it. I'm good.
Just no?
Yeah. Just
that
no.
you can say no?
You can say that.
As a grown-up?
Yes. And how they feel is how they feel. It's, you're not responsible for that.
So that's a concern for others. You're so thoughtful, but really you're just making excuses to eat food, and you're blaming other people for it. What about the fake self-actualization loophole?
You only live once! You only live once!
I was just going to say YOLO, so that was awkward. Because
you were going to save time?
I was going to save time by just saying YOLO.
I'm trying to pad the length of the podcast right now by saying you only live once.
You do. You only live once. And
and sort of embrace the moment. Like, this is the moment for me. I'm going to eat cake. Or, I don't know why I keep going back to cake.
Because cake is delicious. But, like, that you only live once thing, like, okay, great. Well, now you're 42 years old and you weigh 300 pounds. Like, way to go, YOLO.
Yeah, you've only lived yourself once into a diabetes diagnosis.
More Rolo than YOLO. Our daughter actually had Rolos the other day. She had never had them before. We did not have them.
Yeah.
But, it's that, like, all of these loopholes tie together into this story that you tell yourself about why you can't make it happen. And I see it with people all the time. And it's like, what am I going to do? I work too much. I don't have time. I've got kids. I've got work. I've got, all this stuff. Like, there's no time left. And, there's a story. I'm not going to be as chicken soup for the soul about it, but it's like there's a jar. And it's like, how many rocks can you fill, put in it? And you fill it with big rocks. And it's like, okay, is the jar full? Well, yeah, but you could put sand in it and then, like, it would fill in all the gaps and then it would really be full. So this has to do with your time and your stories that you tell each other. Donna's looking at me like I am a crazy person.
I don't know where this is going, except
chicken soup
we
for
now
the
have
soul.
a jar full of rocks and sand for some reason.
That's your dinner from now on. No, but you tell yourself you're too busy, and if you really look at it, there's a lot of wasted time. For example, like saying you only live once. That was a waste of time when you could have just said YOLO.
I could have said embrace the moment!
I'm sorry. So
I'm actually raising my arms up in the air in triumph right now.
A rocky victory thing.
None of you can see, but I'm doing it anyway.
But all of those, like, stories that you build in your head become your truth. And maybe you have a child or an employee or a friend who keeps making excuses about things, and you know damn well that they could change their life about something. The same is probably true with you. There is an excuse that you're making. There's a loophole that you're invoking that is just a story that you tell yourself to limit yourself. I don't have time to get up early. I don't have time to walk. I don't have time to make food. The other day was like, I don't have time to make breakfast. I'm so busy. And it's like, I just spent 15 minutes messing around on Facebook. I can make myself some scrambled eggs. Like, suddenly, like, I'm not going to discover the cure for cancer in the next 15 minutes if I don't make scrambled eggs. Like, there's time for everything. You just need to be aware of how you spend it.
I feel like we've gotten a little bit off of you only live once, but I think what you're saying leads directly into the final number 10 loophole, the one coin loophole. And
one coin.
One coin has to do with, if you have a jar and you just put one coin in it, what difference does that make?
Are you rich with one coin? No, you're not.
But, however, if you keep putting coins in there, eventually you will have a jar full of coins and you can take it to Coinstar and turn that into a valuable Starbucks gift card.
Which is a weight loss method?
I don't know.
Wow,
but but it works for me.
I suddenly feel like there's a jar of sand coins.
Sand coins. But what that does mean is that you can tell yourself, what difference does it make if I break this habit this one time? And you know what? It does make a difference. And everything makes a difference. And you can go the other way with it. People say to themselves all the time, and I hear this all the time, like, what difference does it make if I park far away and I get those extra 50 steps? What difference does it make if I cut down on this one thing? If I'm eating 4,000 calories anyway, what difference does it make if I go down to 3,800? Well, every little bit adds up. And I think that is the message that I don't know about Catherine Weigel, are trying to get across, that, you make these little sustainable changes and you've got the rest of your life to build them up. And 2 years later, I've lost 104 pounds, and I've by putting one coin at a time in that metaphysical jar that does not have rocks and sand in it.
It has coins.
It has coins.
Many coins. And ducats? Is that a coin?
Ducats are some sort of pirate thing, I think.
Back to pirate's booty. But, I mean, I look back at the last 2+ years, and I see how far I've come and how much farther I still have to go, because I do fall back into those old habits so quickly and those old stories, because I am basically at my goal weight. I've gone up and down the scale a little bit in the last 2 months, and as I actually turned the calendar page to March, I was like, I've been running in place for 2 months because I have only lived once, and I have just this once, and I have, concerned for others, and it doesn't count. And, so I am committing to myself to not make those choices, and staying present in my choices and aware is really important, because I do see other people, and I'm connected to other people who have been making excuses, and 2 years later are up on the scale 10 pounds. And what if they keep doing that and they're up another 10 pounds in another 2 years? And it doesn't seem like much, but over 10 years, that's 300 pounds.
We are not
we're not the
whizzes,
maths. No,
everyone.
No beautiful minds here.
No.
Beautiful faces, not beautiful minds.
No Goodwill Huntings.
So it all adds up. And if you are listening to our words right now, and you actually grab a jar, and every day that you make a good choice, you put a coin in the jar, you're going to have many, many coins or rocks, depending on what you put in them.
Yeah, you've got the rest of your life to put coins in that jar. I'm, keeping the metaphor going. But, and it doesn't, the little things can and do add up, and it's not about hitting some finish line in a week. It's not about, jumping in feet first and suddenly being a perfect person. It's about adding these little things together and telling yourself that you've got forever to do this, and that, think about where you'll be in a year if you just do these little things.
And there is no magical time, and I know we've said this before, of when things die down, when work dies down, when family dies down, when after the holidays are over, you can come up with 1,000 excuses, 1,000 holidays. It shouldn't be a surprise that you have a birthday weekend coming up. It shouldn't be a surprise that you've got events that you need to go to. Oh, well, after the wedding, before the wedding, whatever. It's all life, and there's never going to be this perfect clean slate where you can have this perfect life and no stress in which to make better choices. So we are just asking you to take a look at these stories that you tell yourself, make some conscious choices, even just being honest about it. I am going to eat this cheesecake because I want to eat this cheesecake, not because I only live once, not because I'm on vacation, but because I am making a choice to eat it. And the more honest you can be with yourself, and the more direct, I think you're flexing that muscle of owning your choices instead of being victim of your choices.
Yeah, and I think that is super important. I think that, half the battle of weight loss is mindset, and going into it not lying to yourself about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and owning your choices every day.
Like the choice to listen to this amazing and inspiring podcast.
If you've made that
Congratulations.
choice, yes, you've really, truly made the right decision. You've taken the first step into a larger world. I'm sort of half Obi-Wan Kenobi-ing, paraphrasing from Star Wars.
So thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you wouldn't mind rating and reviewing us on iTunes.
Yeah, that really helps us out a lot. And we really appreciate every single one of you that have done that. And if you could take a minute and just click on that 5-star rating on iTunes, we would appreciate it.
And follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram.
Catherine does wonderful work on Instagram.
I do.
I have nothing to do with it.
No.
But you didn't have to so quickly.
Well, the podcast wouldn't even go up on the air if it wasn't for you, so I can take pictures of coffee cups, but you're actually making the magic happen.
I am at least partially responsible for this podcast.
He is very responsible. So be responsible for yourself, won't you? Rate us, won't you? Share us with your friends and your enemies. Don't you want everyone to be better, even your enemies?
Yes, and go to our Facebook page and say some stuff and get some wisdom.
And watch out for those loopholes.
Yes, yeah. Keep an eye on that. Tell yourself the truth, and
Tell us the truth.
Tell us the truth. And you know what else is the truth?
What?
That we are an inspiration.
Inspiration.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.